Well, you had mentioned earlier about when you went to BlizzCon that they were talking about Diablo 4.
Yes.
Right? So was there anything with BlizzCon this weekend that you guys saw about Diablo 4? Anything?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean,
you were watching, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
God, why don't you say what happened for Diablo 4?
Well, they have a new character class, the Rogue, right? That's pretty cool.
Yes, sir.
I mean, looks great to me. I mean, well, how many character classes now do they have? They have the Barbarian, they said, right?
When I was there, you got to play the Barbarian. You got the Druid, the Wizard, and now the Rogue.
The Druid, I'm happy they brought him back, too.
Yeah, it's interesting play style so far, but we'll see how it goes.
I like the mounts. I think that's cool. I like how they, jump off the mounts and they do attacks that way.
What'd you think of the cinema?
Oh, the cinema was great. I told you, Blizzard's great with that, man. It's like watching a movie, right?
Yeah, so when you guys check it out, you're going to see it. They do the whole thing for the Rogue, like a full cinema for it, and then it jumps right into the gameplay. And the gameplay looks, of course, really hot. So that's going to be a fun class.
Was that a cinema just for that intro or that Rogue, or was that part of the story of cinema, you think? Did they make it just for specifically the Rogue class? Or you think that was actually part of the story?
I have a feeling that there's going to be some sort of intro story for every character.
Yeah, probably, right? And that's probably one of them.
So that's going to be her story. I'm assuming that's the way it's going to be. But I do know that they mentioned that the Rogue is going to have specific character quests as she goes through the story. And I think that's tied to like adding elements to your weapons and such. Like if she plays with a wizard, for instance, in Diablo 4, they have world bosses and regular bosses too. But what happens is they have like a stun break or something like that. Basically, they have like a level to which when you knock them down a certain amount, they can be stunned, froze, knocked over, things like that. So if you're playing with a wizard and she's a frost wizard, she's doing skills that frost and freeze, you wind up freezing a character. But as a rogue, I make myself coated with frost skills on my stuff. We aid each other, and we can basically freeze a boss even faster. Mm-hmm. So there's different things like that you can do. So she's going to have quests maybe for like poison, frost. I think they showed lightning. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I think so.
So there's a couple of different things.
Well, they mentioned that she was like a thief, in that cinematic trailer and all. Is there any like a stealth or invisibility type of power that you think that they
showed it and they have a thing. Basically, I don't remember the name of it, what they call it, but for a moment it went really dark. Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming that's what she uses to get like either a boost of power, or a sneak attack based on them not being able to see her for a second or something like that. So there's going to be something like that. It's probably like a defensive type thing that you could probably make offensive as well. So that's going to be added in for her. You brought up the way they go, they showed in the cinema some ears, which is kind of cool because what that does is that makes me think back in the day.
A little throwback.
Yeah. Diablo 2 and Diablo 1. When you killed a guy, you got, I think in Diablo 1 as well.
I'm not sure. I know definitely Diablo 2.
Yeah. When you killed characters, you would get their ears and you can collect it and have their names. So you killed XYZ character. So it's kind of funny that they use Rogue, which was the class from Diablo 1. It was not in Diablo 2. So the Rogue is back, and they brought back the ears for that cinema, which is kind of cool.
Now I'm trying to think of Diablo 2. Could you do anything with those ears? No, right? You can't collect them and hand them in for things, right?
I don't even know if you could trade them. You maybe could trade them, but they sold for like a gold.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to do something with those ears, though. Like maybe the more you collect, you could put them towards like a piece of gear somehow or something like that.
Well, what they're going to have is the PvP. I don't know if the ears, I think they still might be like trophies.
Right.
But when you're killing people, you'll be most likely in a zone that's going to a zone that's going to be a PvP zone. So you'll have to collect stuff in this zone.
Yeah, and they said it could go towards PvP gear. Right? Did they mention that?
No, I think it's nothing for power. I think it was more cosmetically. Or something of that sort.
But specifically, you can only get that look within PvP.
In the zones.
Right.
I think it's gear. Like a look. I'm not going to swear, and I don't remember exactly, but they did say you'll be collecting certain things there, and it's good for good stuff. And as you collect more and more by killing and doing, people start realizing there's someone there collecting, and it makes you pop up on the map. If you killed a lot of people, they know to kill you because you're worth more. Plus, there's a way to take like certain stones, and you have to do something with them so you can use them as a currency. But until you do that, they're free game. So if you collect 1,000, you're sitting there saying, "Oh, I'm great, I'm doing all this." All of a sudden, an army comes in. Oh, yep, knocks you down. 3 guys take you out. They take all your stuff and they just walk away and they do it real quick while your hard work gone. So, that's gonna be interesting.
Right.
So you're talking about it being a cosmetic thing. So maybe like a necklace, from that classic movie that we all love.
Oh my god.
You should make one like that, and then you go up to another character like, I'm all ears.
I'm all ears, Mr. London.
little Universal Soldier reference there.
It's funny because there's a belt in Diablo. I don't know if it was in Diablo 1, but it was Diablo 2, 3, called String of Ears. And it's a defensive belt, but it's funny, String of Ears. So, yeah.
But the game of Diablo 4 is looking good, man.
The graphics, I'm not going to lie, they look really good. I always say to everyone, the game looks good, but in the end, they're showing you what they want you to see. I don't know if it's going to be fast-paced. They're showing off the skills. So what they got to do is make you go through. You see the entrails, which was really cool. She slides through the guy, and you see their intestines and entrails fly out of the back of them.
Yeah, that was cool.
But then she'll jump and do other things real fast with different skills. I don't know if that's the style that the game is going to be. Maybe you're going to pick 4 different skills that you kind of have to use in that way. Or is it going to be like Diablo 3 and 2 where it's if I just want to sit in Whirlwind consistently, can I do it? I don't know yet, but they do a very good way of showing off skills.
You think it's going to be a good combination of more of Diablo 2 and 3, but more 2 and 3, but more of 2? It looks, look-wise, it looks darker. It definitely looks darker like Diablo 2.
The feel is a D2.
Definitely.
The feel is
the
there.
The atmosphere and everything, yeah.
The gameplay felt more like 2 from a barbarian standpoint. Well, you know what? I take that back. I didn't have a chance to really play with it. It was also the very beginning.
You have to go hands-on kind of.
Some of it was kind of smooth. They have the trees. You're going back to choosing your skills and how to go, and they've turned it into a tree.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's pretty cool.
So I don't know how the customization is going to be, but Diablo 3 didn't have a tree. It had, you earned your skill at XYZ level, and then you can modify that skill with a rune, which you learned at a certain level, and that was it. You didn't have to find or nothing, and then you could change it at any time, which kind of, it's cool. You could switch, but part of the thing in D2 was I'm making this character. It's going really good. All of a sudden you get the nightmare, and someone's giving you gear. Everything looks good, and your character's crap. And you don't know why. And it is, you built it bad. So you got to start over. So that feeling of learning the game. And
I remember that with my...
You don't get that in D3.
I remember that with my Paladin.
Oh, yeah.
I remember being in I think it was... Nightmare's the hardest one, right? Nightmare.
Oh, hell.
Well, no, it was Nightmare then Hell, right?
Mm-hmm.
I remember Nightmare, I'm hacking away and nothing's killing me. But once I went to the next level up... Blip. Dude, it was totally different from one to another.
What about you got, what was it, Azarath again? Something like that? The sword. You got Azarath?
Yeah, the one that
gives you got a lightsaber.
Yeah,
somebody gave you a lightsaber, and I was like, yo, check out the lightsaber. All right, we're going to the cows, and Jason just sitting there. I was like, are they going to die? He's like, but I'm not dying, but he could kill anything.
No, because what it was is I think it gives you life per hit, life per something.
I don't remember how the lightsaber
I don't remember,
worked.
but my life wouldn't even move. But I'd hack, but I wouldn't be able
But he was barely hurting them.
Dying.
He didn't have enough damage.
Yeah.
So there was other items. That was the thing. You could someone will give you a great sword that you could really use. Yeah. But if you didn't build your character the right way all around it, you're still going to do nothing.
Right. So you said with the rogue, that was, what was it, Diablo 1 was the last time they had the rogue?
The rogue, yeah.
Right? So it wasn't in 2 and 3?
No. In Diablo 2, it went to the Amazon.
Right. The
way it worked in Diablo 1, which is really cool in its own way, is they had 3 styles. You played as a wizard, a fighter, warrior, and then a rogue. So those are your 3 classes, but you can give them intelligence so the rogue can still learn how to use lightning and things like that. So you kind of could mix it up a little bit. In Diablo 2, that was not the case. They went over to the Amazon. So she wasn't like the rogue. She was more she had a skill called Valkyrie, but that's kind of like she was. She was a prominent fighter. She used a lance, spear, and a bow.
Right.
She also summoned a Valkyrie that was something that would fight by her side and take aggression. But, and that's what that was in D2. D3 went to the Demon Hunter. So that was now the dual wielding hand crossbow.
It was like the rogue in the Amazon on drugs.
Yeah, souped up dark.
Just crazy.
But this is cool because now it's you had the demon hunter, which was out there to hunt demons. And then you had like the Amazon, which was like the prominent thing. But the rogue, the way they're bringing it in D4, and I guess how you could look at it now from D1, she was someone that was not so great. You know, like kind of like a Robin Hood, just not good. Like you saw the video, just slicing and dicing people up pretty nasty. So it's cool. And that's the whole thing that's really great about Diablo 4 that everyone was pissed off about. Like D3 came out, nice looking game, plays really smooth. But then, you know, instead of a cow level, you give us the Whimsy Shire with the...
Oh, with this little
with the rainbows and bears and flowers.
The bears, flowers.
You're swimming around rainbows and such. And everyone's like, what the heck?
Rainbows and little, like, you know.
Well, let me tell you something. Back when the game was hard and that shit.
Wasn't there unicorns in there?
Yeah.
Like unicorn heads.
Uh-huh.
It was fucking weird.
You had to kill Sparkle Pony or something like that. And you got some... Dude, but you know what? I got to say, though. There's fucking rainbow swords that if you kill a certain mob in there, you get this cosmetic and you can turn it into like these glowing rainbow swords. They actually look pretty cool. So when I roll one, I'm like, that looks pretty cool. But the feeling is going more back to the D2 and even
definitely.
D1. Pretty damn dark. Mm-hmm. And that's what we all want from Diablo. So it gives you that, like the trailer for D4 when it first announced, I was sitting there watching. I was like, "Oh my god!" Like
you were there live too.
My first BlizzCon was that. I was so happy.
Yeah, right. You could have had the one before that.
Well, I know
the mobile.
And that's why we were like, "Yo, let's go to this one." I was like, "All right, I'll go. Let's go to this one." It happened to me that was Diablo Immortal the year before. I'm like, they're probably going to announce D4 because they were so And Wyatt Chang even talks about that. He talked about that at BlizzCon. He's like, "Yeah." Somebody asked him like, how you handled that whole thing, and he was like, probably didn't go about that saying the thing I should have. Like, what, you guys don't have phones? Well, everyone was like, boo. It was pretty funny.
Are there any other, besides the rogue, obviously, since they brought it back now, is there any other classes like that you think they should bring back for Diablo 4? Like, or was that the only one that they haven't included?
The Necro's coming back.
See,
they didn't announce the Necro yet, right?
See, it's weird. So
the Necro's coming.
We have this coming out, and they showed 4 characters. I'm hoping that they launch with 5.
How many did they announce now? 4.
We're up to 4.
Are they going to have 5? They're probably going to have 5 when it comes out.
No, they can have 5, or they can launch at 4. Because, let's put it this way. The rogue, the way she's moving and slashing, you're not going to get an assassin.
You're right.
They could bring a witch doctor from 3 into it. I don't know if they're going to.
That's a totally different type of class.
So I don't know if they're going to go with 4 and then maybe with an expansion pack or whatever else, add in another character later, or maybe we still have a 5th character to come before the game comes out. Because we got to have some way, somehow, like you said, a necromancer and one shape or form. Although the necromancer in 3 didn't come out right away. That was
an expansion.
Was a buy. You had to buy it. But either the paladin / crusader,
I could see that,
and then like necro witch doctor, like those two types of classes eventually have to enter the game.
Well, you would think that they would come out with a class that balances that each different has a different type of, like you said, they're not going to come with the assassin because the rogue's coming out, very similar character.
See, if they keep it dark, like I don't know what they're going with the druid and the barbarian exactly. But I'm curious to see, like, if they bring back classes dark. Like, imagine, like, the Crusader coming back or a Pally coming back, but it's not like it was. Right. Like, it's a darker type of class. That'd be
or they come out with something totally different. The Witch Doctor was a different class. You didn't
some people were talking completely out of the ordinary. No, some people were talking completely out of the ordinary to go and maybe they're going to do a type of demon class out of nowhere. Like, something that stands up to the archdemons and things like that. So.
Could be. Something really different.
Who the heck knows? Maybe the paladin isn't going to come back, and maybe it's a fallen angel of sorts.
Something different would be
something
good.
different.
Yeah.
Well, I figured that they might save the best for last. So.
Oh, I'm sure.
So I'm sure there's something coming before the announcement, like when the release date.
I think if they have a crazy class like that coming, I don't think it's going to come with the launch. I think you'll go through the game, and there'll be hints of this type of person in the world, like a fallen this, and you're like, oh, they look like they're heroic of types, but they're fallen angels, say that was going to be like a new pally, and you go through the game seeing that, but there's hints, and then like all of a sudden like you have an idea, and then like they announce like an expansion, and then bam, there's that as the class. I'd be like, whoa, a demon class and that.
Yeah.
Like a Dark Knight. And then you have a fallen angel. Like,
wasn't they say
the Dark Knight Rises?
Wasn't there rumor? Wasn't there rumors in Diablo 3 that they were thinking about like a Dark Knight kind of character, but then they came out with
the Crusader?
Yeah, there was something. There was rumors back in the day, I think, of a Dark Knight type of character.
Yeah, there's been all talks. There could be a lot of cool things. I'm excited.
I was going to ask, I think you already mentioned it. Is there, when is it coming out? Is there a release date yet for it?
Diablo 4. No. There is no talk. So I went back and thought about it. I actually went in 2019, so that means Diablo Immortal was announced in 18. And now we're into 21, and they're still testing a phone game, and it hasn't even finished and done yet. So if they're already, like, from announcement to, like, 3-4 years, yeah, we're at 3 years now. So from the announcement to 3 years, and it's not done. Diablo 4 was announced last year, 19. Who knows? It all depends on how many people are on the team. Say again?
2 years. 19.
19. Well, yeah, but this would have been the 1 year BlizzCon. It just happens to fall in 21 because they skipped over December, November. So we're going to be 2 years at the end of the year. So I don't know. Like, very end of 22, if we're lucky, I think.
2022, huh?
If we're lucky.
That's a long time.
Wow.
It's a long time.
It's a year and it's almost 2 years.
Yeah, well, you got to think about it. The next BlizzCon is going to be around the same time as now, but next year, right?
Like, so they just added the class. They haven't.
I think you're right.
They've been talking, giving us hints.
I think you're right. I think the end of 2022.
And what they're doing, because they know this is going to be a long project, they're doing quarterly updates for the game. So I'm sure that's going to be a topic one day down the road for us when a quarterly update comes up. I'm going to talk about it. But they give us quarterly updates where they go, right now, this is what we have as far as classes. Like, and they listen to us, like a bunch of prominent streamers, people just giving feedback, said, we don't think you're gearing right. Do not gear it like Diablo 3, because Diablo 3, you get your set and you're done. That's it. Like, it's the Whirlwind set. That's it. So that's corny, because if I'm getting a Whirlwind set, but I want to do Hammer of the Ancients, maybe I Whirlwind, Leap, Slam, cause an Ancient. Oh, that's a cool looking build. Can't do that in D3. You get the set. The only thing that gets a lot of damage out of your Whirlwind set is Whirlwind, or Rend in this case. Any other legendary, even if you give it 3 things to boost it, doesn't matter, because you got 10,000% damage from your set. So it just nukes everything. So we don't want that. The only thing that's kind of like iffy to me is, and I don't know how it's going to play out yet, they have these special type of legendaries or uniques or mythics, I think they're called. It's the top-notch gear. You cannot trade these. If you find one, you cannot trade it. So if you have it and no one else has it, you got the GG item. But the thing about that scares me is I don't know what's going to be. Is it going to be 4 different stats? Is it going to have a legendary power and 4 different stats? If it has a legendary 4 powers and some other crap on it, that might dictate how a build goes to a degree too. So it's like I have one item and now I have to play the whole build a certain way. I don't know how they're going to build it. I doubt it's going to be completely like that, because they want you to not gain a lot of power out of the items, more so controlling. Like if I do a certain spell, it has more of a chance to freeze, and then my teleport adds damage. So like things like that. Not like I get, here's 10,000% damage. Go kick some ass. Yeah. So
yeah, I wonder if they're gonna have, like, you know, they're only showing you. They showed you a couple of mounts. They showed you 2 different horse mounts. Then they showed you kind of a horse with like blue flames coming out of it, kind of a cool. I wonder if they're gonna go. Oh, do you think they're gonna go?
It's not different mounts. It's the fact that you can get cosmetics, items. There's actually, so in action RPGs, you run around and you kill things, hack and slash. You have the MMOs. You get on a mountain, you drive, run hard, whatever you want to call it. But in Diablo 3, they're going to give you Diablo 4. They're going to give you a mount. But the cool thing about it is, as you're going, at any point, if a monster hits you, like knocks you off your mount, like you have to dismount. But if you also see a bunch of packs of monsters ahead of you, you literally could do a move where you jump off the horse in air, do something, and land on the ground. So you start an attack from the horse, which is like cool. It's really awesome. Nice. So imagine like 3 of us all running down. Oh, look at the pack! Let's go! And you just see everyone jump off the horse. It's like crazy. Or imagine you're in PvP area. chase someone down. You all just jump. Imagine you could do something like that. Oh,
chasing each other.
I'd be so pissed. I'm like doing something, killing some monster. All of a sudden, 3 guys are like, I'm like, oh, it's over.
Really
but you think it's gonna be? You think it's gonna be more than just horses? You think they're gonna go like World of Warcraft route, where it's like
they didn't
weird kind of mounts, like a bug or weird stuff, or
they
they're gonna keep traditional, just like different types of horses.
They might do different mounts, but I doubt if they do, it'll be a select few. But you never know because it's going to be a game that makes money off of microtransactions. Supposedly, we don't know, but it's supposed to be nothing that gives you power. So it could be a mount, it could be a look, but the mounts I do know, which maybe comes from microtransactions too. Who knows? But they have things that
So you mean to tell me they're going to have items that are 1,500 credits, but you could only buy 1,000 at a time?
No, you can buy 1,350 at a time.
Oh, exactly.
So there's always 150 left.
Oh my god, I hate that.
But they're going to have something like that. And the mounts are really cool because I think you can get things to customize your mount. Mm-hmm. Give your mount movement speed. Maybe you can get it where your mount, like it takes a few more hits before you get knocked off. So these are things you can actually farm up in the game too that helps you out.
Yeah, they said you could put, I don't think it has stats, but maybe it does. But they said you could actually put armor on your horse.
Probably.
It's going to have like gear that you could put on the horse. It might be just cosmetic only, but.
That'd be good if it helps out.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. If you can get farm sit, you never know. It could be an integral part of the game, especially like if you have to farm up a bunch of this stuff because, I'm going to go into the PvP zone. In order to get away, I'm going to need to be able to be hit like 3-4 times because they're going to all be like, so you might spend a lot of time building on something like that, which is actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, and they keep mentioning PvP, which Diablo 3 had very little. They had a brawling section, so you can go and you can brawl with people. It was corny. In the beginning, you'd kill like one hit by people, or like you can never catch them. It was really bad. D2 was very the same kind of thing too, anyway. Right. But they keep mentioning like PvP in this, so it's like no one's really paying it too much mind. But they're bringing it up. They showed a person stabbing someone, and bringing them down. But let's see, it was something that was never in D3 really.
Yeah, so. I think you're right though. I mean, they're showing a decent amount of it, but not in anywhere close to say it's coming out in 2021 this year. They already announced that it's not coming out this year anyway. But
no way.
I can see. Year. I think you're right though. I think it'll be late 2022,
earliest.
Yeah,
in my mind, that's
because there's going to be at least another BlizzCon because. They would have announced the release date now if it was going to come before the next BlizzCon. So the next BlizzCon's probably going to come out with an official release date.
So
you would think.
Yeah. So there's other news we're going to get into that's making me think that
there's another reason, that we think that's going to be.
They're definitely giving us some more, but we'll see. I have no idea. Early 22, could be 23. Who knows? Could be 25.
Who knows?
We never know.